Hello, hello. Frosty510 here with a quick little education session, if I can get my words out properly. As many guides have come out, that there's been many sort of warnings and don't do this, don't do that, and I thought I'd dispel one of them for the most part here. So what I'm going to be talking about today is aspects. Now, what I'm going to be talking about specifically is the rarity of aspects. So many guides have come out on YouTube and they've all said, keep a hold of them, keep a hold of your aspects. If you get the perfect roll, you better use that later on. So don't waste it on low level equipment. Don't waste it on mid game. Save it for when you're level 70, 80, 90, or once you've got your ancestral stuff, your highest tier for now equipment. But there are some aspects that get better. So I think the perfect example here is Deep Freeze. So while Deep Freeze is active, exploding ice spikes form in the area dealing 367, which is between 328 to 459. So we have a damage range. So damage dealing, specifically damage dealing aspects, they can change. So this is a legendary aspect, but we have the where are you? Ice armor. Here we go. Here it is. Here we have the Ancestral legendary aspect version. So we have different legendary versions of different tiers of our aspects, as well as just having basic legendary imprints, things you can put on your weapons and they do more damage. They have rarity tiers as well. So when the guides talk about saving your aspects, they don't mean save stuff that does damage. So this being the example, straight up between damage range 328 to 459, this goes up massively with the Ancestral version, 1035 to 1449, and I've got 1408 on the roll. So this is a massive increase in damage. Now this doesn't apply to percentages. So one of the things, so this is probably an example here. So explosions from shatter, key passive deals 74%, so this is 60 to 80, but because it's a two-hander, it only goes to 40. So it's really, I think it was 37. So 37 on that, which isn't bad at all. There's a couple other percentage ones as well. Taking less damage from crowd control and vulnerable enemies doesn't actually scale up with the rarity. And there's a few others. So just be warned. So what is the lesson here? Be warned, anything that deals damage or has a flat value, like barrier is another example. So my barrier, I haven't even upgraded it because I've just this is a sacred barrier, because this is the second middle tier. There's a lower tier below that, just a normal legendary barrier, which goes from 1022 to 2044, and I'm 2155, which of course makes as much sense as anything in this game. But there is the Ancestral version, which is 4693 damage absorbed, which is massive improvement. So don't save the ones that have flat values that are between a range when it comes to flat damage or absorption values. So you just got to be careful that you can sit on a whole bunch of crap aspects, and you can have ones that, like this one here, this is a perfect example, 34% shatter. This is fine, it's a sacred one, doesn't make a difference. Normal legendary is the same range, Ancestral is the same range. So just be careful as you go through the game. You're extracting your legendaries aspects and you're looking at them going, oh, this one's great, this one's great. I get some early game and I think, oh, I'll save all these ones for late game. You get late game, suddenly you get ones that are much more powerful when they're flat numbers. So just bear in mind, not all of the aspects are worth keeping, and they can just be filling up your stash and just wasting your time. So double check, have a look around, go, wait a second, maybe the range doesn't change, maybe it doesn't ever improve. So we get damage reduction here for 6 seconds, 2 to 6 seconds, and this is sacred legendary. They don't get better. But some things like this, they stay the same as well. It's always at 50% as maximum on the armor, improved armor thing. So yeah, just keep an eye out. It's kind of sad, to be honest, that some of these don't scale up, which I wish they did. But it makes sense the damage ones scale up as the enemies get more health, as they get more powerful. So just be aware, especially for your two-handed weapons, you do want to put damage things on them, because it's again, my build is all about shatter, so I'm not so worried about it. But for other builds, it's really important, especially like barbarians. Anything with doing damage with an ability, put it on your two-hander, if you're using that, of course. And just bear in mind that they do scale up. Aspects do become rarer. And this is where another layer of hunting for the best loot is that you need to hunt for an ancestral legendary weapon or armor piece that has the perfect aspect for you that you're looking for. So just keep an eye out and be cautious. But at the same time, ditch all the crap ones you don't need, because you know you'll get better ones. Use them. Use them up. It's one of the biggest mistakes I see is people saving their aspects when it's like you could have a smoother progression through the game, you better get more items, kill more monsters. We talk about World Tier 1 versus World Tier 2 and then just totally drop it. As soon as you get past level 50 and you go into World Tier 3, they just seem to forget that powering up is always the right answer. And then everything else you can sort out later. Because if you kill enough monsters because you powered up, you'll be able to get your drops faster. You'll be able to get the good items. Because you'll be clearing quicker. Kill monsters first. Kill everything first. Everything else is secondary. You'll get the good stuff. You'll be right. So yeah, don't sweat too much. Again, I'm waiting for a perfect amulet on my build. My build's a totally different sort of beast. I'm not going to go into it. But just keep an eye out. Have an understanding that nothing's, perfect. And you can replace a lot of these things. You can replace them with much, much, much better. I'm going to get rid of this barrier. It's going to be so much better when I swap it on a perfect Ancestral helm. So I'm still waiting for the helm. I've just got a sacred one, so I want an Ancestral with better rolls, of course. And then I chuck the barrier on there. Barrier is really good. Yeah, I've talked way too long. It's been Frostify10. I'll catch you next time. Tell me what you think, which legendary aspects you found that are much, much, much better at Ancestral, which they should be, and ones that aren't better at Ancestral. They're just sort of, some of them only appear at later rarities, or just, their rarity. Some of the aspects are so hard to find. A perfect example is restoring primary resource when you crowd control an enemy. I still think that's a pretty damn good one to have. And anything else here I've got that's actually worth. The frozen orb's pretty rare. Some of the skill things are quite rare, but some of the other stuff's pretty basic. Pretty basic stuff there. Yeah. Catch you next time. Bye bye.